Go there, right? So I attended UCLA in 2008, entered as a safety. But my passion really wasn't in safety. I love playing running back. So I went up to my coach and I asked, can I move to safety and can I play running back? He said yes. My freshman year, I started sixth on the depth chart at running back. It was tough, getting one rep at practice. Eventually, I continued to work, and I went from sixth to starter by the first game of the season. Playing running back at UCLA, I had opportunity to network and meet a lot of people. And over the year, I had an opportunity to intern with Mayor Antonio Villaraigosa, what pretty much allowed me to get the nickname the Mayor and lead to my community efforts. After interning with him, I decided that I wanted to major in political science. So at UCLA, majored in political science, graduated there in honors at mention, and left UCLA the all-time leading rusher. I was blessed to be drafted by the Green Bay Packers in the fourth round. I thought my life was on top of the mountain. Drafted by the Green Bay Packers, sponsored by Adidas, my own car by Ford given to me. I had my own radio show in Green Bay. I was living good, if you ask me. And to put the cherry on top, we was playing the Cincinnati Bengals, fourth game of the season. Cincinnati Bengals, a top 5 defense. Eddie Lacy was a running back at the time, but he had a concussion. He was out. So James Starks went in. James Starks having a great game. To the second play before the halftime, he got hit in the knee, got a knee sprain. When at halftime, Coach Mike McCarthy said, "Jay Frank, it's your time to shine, baby." I was ready to go. I get in the game, end up running for 100 yards and scoring a touchdown, having the most yards ever by a rookie in Green Bay Packer history. My life was taking off. Fast forward, about the 12th game of the season, playing the Minnesota Vikings. I'm excited. It's November, Green Bay, Wisconsin. You know it was cold, but it was fun, and it's Lambeau Field. First play of the game, first quarter. Sitting back 2 yards deep in the end zone, the ball is kicked. I catch it. I run to the 5, to the 10, 15. I'm hit right on the crown of my helmet. Fumble, the ball comes out. I look at the ball. It's right on the ground to the left, and I move to go get it. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm completely paralyzed from my neck down. Couldn't move an inch. I'm laying there, not knowing what to do, not knowing what to think, just what's next. Eventually, I get my feelings back, and I jog to the sideline. They send me into the tunnel. I look back. It's my last time looking back on the field as a Green Bay Packer player. I was forced to medically retire the following June from a spinal contusion. Not only did I lose the game of football, I lost my identity. I lost my confidence. For as you heard, I gave football my everything to escape my reality, and it became who I was. I didn't know anything else. I remember after I retired, I took a trip up to the Facebook and Instagram headquarters, and it was a group of us. And while we were walking there, we seen a homeless man on the street. And a gentleman in the group, he asked us, "Do you think that homeless man planned to be there? Was he born hoping, like, hopefully one day I'm laying on a cardboard, or what do you think happened to him?" I said, "I don't know. He probably just made some bad choices." But he said, "No, he said life happened." I said, "What do you mean by that?" He said, "Well, one day this homeless man was excited. He was passionate about life. He had a vision. He had a goal. But something in life knocked him down and took everything away from him. And what he did was he forgot his why, and he forgot his purpose, and he forgot that excitement because those challenges that he faced became bigger than who he was." And I took time to reflect on that. And what I thought was life was happening to me. I was completely lost. And that same night, I was going in my suitcase, and I found a piece of paper. And on that piece of paper, I found a few things written that I wrote when I was in high school. And on this paper, it was like, "My name is Johnathan Franklin, and this is who I am." And it talked about how I was strong, how I had a purpose, how I wanted to impact the community, how I wanted to make a difference. But nowhere on that paper did it say that I just wanted to become a football player. Nowhere on that paper did it say that is all I am, is a football player. So reading that paper and understanding that story, I realized why life was happening. My why and my purpose had to be bigger than life. My why had to be bigger than football, and my why had to be bigger than my dream. And as you young folks are in here, I want to encourage you all to have a why. Write down your why so you can see it each and every day. Every choice you make, allow it to reflect your why in life. We are so caught up sometimes with the distractions of the world. But how many times do we lose ourselves in our whys? How many times do we read books to bring us closer to our whys? How many times do we do things associated with our whys? So I encourage you, regardless how successful you become, or even if you go down a wrong path, as long as you have your why in front of you, all things are possible. And as I found my why and I started speaking that into myself, I was able to work with the Green Bay Packers organization, where I was in a rotational program and really had an opportunity to bounce around from different departments. From the Green Bay Packers, I was able to work at the University of Notre Dame for the past 2 years, where I oversaw the community service for the student athletes, led the Bible study, and developed our community partners. And now I'm able to work with the Los Angeles Rams. And I am where I am smiling after I lost at one point everything I'd had because I knew what my why was. It was bigger than who I was. It was bigger than my dream, and it's nothing I could ever get. It's something I will always chase, and as I get older and as I develop, my why will develop. And I hope that does the same for y'all. I'd like to leave y'all with a few things that I've learned over my journey, and one of them is perspective. I was sitting in a class about a month ago, and the instructor had a lemon on the table. And what she did, she asked the class, "What do you use a lemon for?" Well, I said, "Well, for lemonade, right?" And other people raised their hand. They said, "Well, yeah, for lemonade." Some used it to glisten their hair, and others used it for the garbage disposal. It was things I never heard of before. Then she took it to another level. She says, "Well, where do lemon come from?" I'm not gonna lie. I said, "Well, a lemon tree, don't you think?" Well, when other people said no, and other individuals raised their hand, they said from the Mediterranean. And the gentleman rose his hand. He said, "Well, I've read that over 60% of lemons come from Argentina." Well, she took a little deeper. She says, "Well, what are the issues behind lemons?" They talked about immigration. They talked about citrus canker. They talk about all these things going on in the world. And I was like, all this over a lemon? But what it taught me was we have to look beyond the obvious. We have to understand that life isn't based off just our experiences. We have to be able to broaden our knowledge, and we have to be able to be open-minded. We have to be able to see all sides of the story. It's not just about how we see the world. We have to challenge our opinions. We have to challenge our thoughts. We have to challenge who we are. Because if we want to grow, if we want to conquer our why, we have to keep growing in every facet of life. Something else I want to leave you with is awareness. As I've learned, there's 3 types of people. There's one that's walking a room and doesn't even notice that the room is painted. 2, there's another person that will walk in a room and realize that the room is painted green. While 3, there's a person that walks in the room and understands that the room is painted forest green. Now, I'm not telling y'all buy a box of crayons and learn colors, but what I'm saying is be prepared for what you're walking into. You should never walk in a room and not understand who's going to be in there. You should never walk in a room and not be prepared for what topic might come up. Sitting at your tables today, you should be able to do research of who might be there. Who might I need to talk to? Who is in that audience that's going to help me conquer my why? That's going to help me be better than I am today, tomorrow. What I'm trying to say is manage your moments in life. Master who you are every single day. This is our one shot that we get, our one shot. And you could do whatever you want to do in life if you manage your moments, if you keep your why and your vision. So I'm telling you all, you're worth something. Go conquer the world. I'm excited for you all. God bless you all. Thank you so much.
Wow. We always know that we can count on inspiration from our youth and government family. Thank you for being such an inspiring guest for us this evening. And I think I'm going to have the support of the whole crowd to warmly welcome you and make you an honorary youth and government delegate. Yeah. You are that inspired. Thank you for showing us that with your unbelievable accomplishments in football, it's one of the least important things about you. That was amazing. Thank you. Okay, speaking of amazing people, we've got another amazing dear friend of mine to bring forward. Mark Helm is a partner at Munger, Tolles, and Olson. We'd like to say that he really began his law career when he was a teen at North Hollywood High School. For it is there that he joined the East Valley Youth and Government Delegation and was somehow amazingly elected youth governor in 1974. He then went on to, and by the way, I briefly attended UCLA, but nobody ever handed me a football while I was there. But Mark went on to Harvard, where he was president of the Harvard Law Review and graduated magna cum laude from the Harvard Law School. He continued his civic endeavors by clerking for Judge Carl McGowan of the United States Court of Appeals and, get this, Chief Justice Warren E. Burger of the United States Supreme Court. Yeah, wow is right. Mark has written and lectured extensively on legal ethics. One of our most magnificent leaders, including leading us as the chair of the LA Metro Board of Directors. Mark is definitely proof that youth and government does help form a culture of responsibility and service within everyone who gets close to Y&G that sustains them and drives them through adulthood. Please join me in welcoming Mark to the stage, thanking him for his continued leadership and support while he leads us through the award portion of the evening. Hey, Mark.
Thank you, Chet. This is a great evening. I love coming to this event, and I also love youth and government. And that's because I can't think of anything in the world that makes something so good for you so much fun. And that, to me, is the magic of youth and government. The program transforms the lives of the kids who participate in it. They learn in a hands-on way, a very deep and sophisticated set of insights into the government process. They also develop abilities that will help them throughout their lives to speak, to lead, to work with others, and to think constructively about how to make our world a better place. But ask